I'm not sure when I started to take notice of the stories. I just know that at some point I saw one on my Facebook feed. I read it, more out of curiosity and disbelief than because of any real faith. Then, suddenly it seemed as though I became more aware of them. They were either becoming more prominent, or perhaps it was simply that once I noticed one, my mind began picking them out because of the familiarity. I saw Twitter pictures and Snapchat stories, and then I began to search them out by watching videos on YouTube, and then typing the words into my search engine. Angel sightings. There were troves of pictures and stories showing these angelic figures above the brutal scenes of car accidents. I became obsessed with these photos and the locations. I would drive for hours to get to the scene of an accident I'd seen by some sort of media, just to stand in the same place as where the photo had shown this vision of white, hovering just above the heads of the people walking around, completely unaware of what a photo would show above them. I would go at the same time of day, on a day as similar to the weather as I could, to try and recreate this scene in my mind. Then, I'd set about my work trying to debunk these images. Holding the printed-off image in my hand, I would go over every single detail. Where was the sun? Where was the broken glass, and was it reflecting the sun onto the bumper and projecting a fraction of light at just the moment the photo was shot? Where were the leaves, and were they tilted just the right way to cause a blur of light caught by the photographer's camera? I'd stand where the photographer of the picture had stood, staring at my photo and then glancing up to compare what I was seeing to what was in the picture. I took these pictures to priests and pastors and rabbis and asked them to explain them to me, to give me their opinion of what I was seeing, what the world was being shown. Surely there are explanations, scientific explanations, to dismiss such childish inclinations to believe in something waiting to escort the dead to heaven. I'd ask, isn't this really just humans looking for something comforting to grasp onto, to make death less frightening? Reading the details of an accident, knowing that there was a good chance that the victim was alive and in a great deal of pain for at least a short amount of time, doesn't it make humans feel less frightened to think that if it were them, there'd be a comforting presence to hold their hand and gently lift their soul from the mangled and twisted wreckage, or from dangling off a tree branch that pierced the midsection of that mother of four, leaving her hanging there like a plastic bag, blown upward by a strong wind? Repeatedly, I was told that they could not answer this question for me, this question I desperately needed answered, that it wasn't up for them to know everything nor how God works in his mysterious ways. Rather than becoming a believer, I became angry. Angry that we could let ourselves be led down a path by the simple science of light fragments reflecting off the morning dew. How simple-minded humans are, how completely scared and timid the species is to grasp onto something so simple as the blur from a camera of a phone being moved at just the right time. It began to harden my heart against such notions as God and angels and the devil and demons and good and bad. I began to feel as though there just was what there was. This time, at this moment, at this place, with this person, and then it's gone. That's when it happened. It was a warm summer afternoon. I was driving down the highway. My girlfriend was in the passenger seat, on our way to the beach, where I would propose to her. We had the top down, her red hair whipping around the top of her head, her wide smile as she tried to control it. She threw her head back to laugh. I turned to watch her, thinking how I could not love her any more if I tried, thinking of how happy I was to start our life together. I didn't see the car on the other side of the highway. A blue Chevy. The driver had been served earlier in the day with divorce papers. He began drinking heavily, and with his judgment impaired, decided to drive to see his wife at the home they'd shared before the separation. The home they'd brought their 2 children to after they were born. That bitch had no business taking away his kids and filing for a protective order, he thought. He dropped the bottle on the floorboard. I reached over with my right hand to pull a strand of hair from her eyelashes when the blue car drove across the median, jumped up onto the freeway just ahead of me, and hit my car on the driver's side. My car rolled 3 times, my body being held in by the seatbelt, but being jerked back and forth with such force that my hands came off the steering wheel as I saw my girlfriend's head hit the dash. The box with the ring came flying out of my pocket, and as her head jerked back and then forward again, the box traveled in between her head and the dash in a split second that it took to happen. Sky, pavement, sky, grass, sky. The radiator of the blue car shooting hot water straight up into the air. And I saw him. The vision of a cloudy figure coming into focus, hovering above the blue car. His glance landed upon me and time stood still. He opened his mouth and his ice blue eyes looked down on me.
"You may ask your question,"
the booming voice uttered, and I knew what he meant. "Are you an angel? Am I going to heaven?" I stuttered, blood running into my eye, the taste of it in my mouth.
"Is that what you've been thinking?"
He laughed, his wings fluttering.
"Yes, I am what you may call an angel, but I do not escort human souls to the thing you call heaven. God himself does such righteous acts. I am here for the soul of this wretched being. I'm escorting his soul to where he'll spend eternity thinking of how he's hurt those who've loved him. It was time for him to go. I'm here because I've been waiting for him to meet me here."
And then he was gone. I no longer seek those images out, as I know now that I was right. Those images are not meant to be comforting. But what I hadn't known is that they are meant as a warning.
Hi everyone, make sure to subscribe to Exit Light and give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget to share with all of your friends.